The unofficial results: Manila, Theatrical, Estropod with the favorite Dancing Brave finishing fourth. Interestingly, Dancing Brave sired by Leafard. Leafard also the sire of Dancing Brave, but it was the lesser-known Manila, the upset winner for the $2 million turf race at Santa Anita today. And here they come for home.
Manila, Jose Santos in the red cap just pushing, and a wave of the whip. He wins it. Manila takes the Breeders' Cup Turf, a $2 million event. The Theatrical second and Estropod third.
What the horse requires during a race are critical. The racing saddle is tiny in comparison to the English pleasure saddle or the bulky Western saddle. The bridle includes the brow band, nose band, reins, and stainless steel or aluminum bit. Some horses require blinders to eliminate distraction or a shadow roll to prevent the horse from seeing his own shadow as he runs. This trackside moment is brought to you by First Jersey Securities, the nationwide investment firm. Come grow with us.
We're back at Santa Anita where Gary Stevens rode Theatrical to an excellent second-place finish. Did you see that other horse coming?
Well, I could feel him coming. I knew there was something going to be running at me. I figured it would be Dancing Brave, the horse that won the race. Manila has been a horse that's been underestimated all year long, and he just goes to show he's a true champion.
The horse did try to dig in, though, in the stretch, though.
Yes, he did. When he came up and hooked me 50 yards from the wire, my horse was bearing down. He was getting his head down, and he was trying for everything he was worth.
Well, he had a good second. Not such a good race for the favorite Dancing Brave. Let's go to Brock.
Yes, and here's Pat Henry. Disappointment for you. Disappointment all over the world, in England too. He came to challenge, but he didn't get through.
Well, the horse raced well up till going past the top turn, and from there on I wasn't happy. It looked like I was going well, but he was leaning out with me all the way down the back. And then he came into the last turn completely on the wrong leg, and he ran out. And it just stopped him quickly, and he didn't handle it.
So it wasn't a question of him losing condition, he just didn't handle the track.
Well, I felt that. The horse looked well, and he was racing nicely till that first turn, and then he was gone.
You knew Theatrical in Europe. Where is Dancing Brave normally apropos Theatrical?
Well, normally, Theatrical and Manila who beat down the they shouldn't beat him, but they have.
A disappointing day for you, and for Dancing Brave, the end of a brilliant career.
Well, he's off the stud now, and he's done well. He's won everything, so you can't take the arc away from him.
Thank you very much, Pat Henry.
Well, the highs and lows of this game. Jose Santos aboard 2-5 favorite Groovy in the sprint, finishes fourth. And what a ride. He gets pinned on the rail, Chris McCarron, and gets off brilliantly.
He rode an excellent race, saving ground the whole way. But right here, as you'll notice, he's inside of Estropod and has to check slightly and to alter course to go to the outside for clear running room. And once he got the stick in his left hand here, his horse really responded because Theatrical appears to be running very strongly at this point, but Manila just outfinished him.
Dancing Brave, any excuses?
He appeared not to have any excuses. He made a nice run down the backside when Pat asked him to, and he had perfect striking position at the 3/8 pole, but just wasn't able to overcome them.
Let's go down to the winner's circle.
All right, well, first of all, congratulations to the owner, Mr. Mike Shannon, a native of Shamrock, Texas, who now lives in Kentucky. Nice going.
Thank you, sir.
I'll tell you, this was a wonderful win for you, a young man who was born in Chile. Jose Santos, you won your first race when you were still a teenager, started riding when you were 14. Tell us about this one today.
Well, I'm very excited now, and in the last quarter, and I'm going a little bit in Toro, going out a little bit, and I'm tired got the hold, but the Toro close again, and I'm going out. In the last 17 yards, Gary Stevens hitting couple times, hitting so fast, and he hit my hand, and I lose my stick, and I work a little bit, but this is the great horse.
It certainly was, and you rode him very nicely. Harvey?
I just want to take to Leroy Jolly for a second, man who sent Genuine Wrist to Kentucky. He has to saddle Magambo in the next race. I was psyched out by Dancing Brave, but you weren't.
Well, American grass racing's pretty good, too. Our horses that win major races can run with anybody.
Well, I got to say one thing. It was a thriller from Manila, and I know you're happy, and I know you want to saddle Magambo back upstairs.
Thank you. Jose Santos, the leading money writer in the United States this year, making his move off the rail to guide Manila home in the $2 million Turf Classic, 1960 Theatrical second, and Estropod, part of the entry, is third. Our thanks to the Goodyear Blimp Columbia from Carson, California, audited by Charles Russell and Tom Mattis for their wonderful pictures today. Over Santa Anita, the wonderful blue sky over Southern California, the San Gabriel Mountains is our backdrop here, and a day of championship races. As a matter of fact, Though we've talked about championships all day, we haven't mentioned Manila. The 3-year-old, after winning the turf, perhaps nailed down the title as an Eclipse Award winner for champion 3-year-old of 1986. Just moments ago, the trophy was presented here at Santa Anita, sponsored by First Jersey Securities, and the chairman of First Jersey, Robert Brennan, presenting the trophy to Bradley Michael Shannon. Well, coming up, the piece de resistance this afternoon, the Breeders' Cup Classic. $3 million. And look at this. The two top candidates for Horse of the Year, Turcoman and Precisionist, will look each other eye to eye in the starting gate. Turcoman at 8-5 and 2-1 on his rival Precisionist. Triptyque, the filly, she's made a habit of beating the colts. Perhaps she can pull it off 15-1 on the morning line. And another 3-year-old, Magambo, in the field, trained by Leroy Jolly. The morning line for the Classic coming up. Well, our final report on following the foals involves a dramatic turn of events. So far, we've seen a colt and a filly with contrasting lives. The third is another filly who had the brightest prospects of all. Like Lady Secret, a daughter of Secretariat, with the looks and pedigree of a champion. Continuing with following the foals, here's Bruscott.
July 78, Talingua wins the Hollywood Lassie. She's by Wonder Horse Secretariat out of the mare Crimson Saint. June 85, Pancho Villa wins the Silver Screen. He's Talingua's full brother. Lightning strikes twice. Could it happen a third time? Remember, May 20th, 85? A full sister to those two stars struggles to stand at the Tom Gentry farm in Kentucky. At this stage, she's the ultimate in four-legged promise.
An earthquake came in here and just killed everything but this foal, and I had to sell it for survival. That would be, at this point, the only way I would ever think of entering here into the sale. Win, lose, or draw, this filly will be worth a fortune. It doesn't matter. She can outrun a fat man. She will be worth a fortune because her residual value, whether she ever wins a race, will be a couple $1 million. As opposed to a colt. A colt has to perform.
Throughout that golden summer, we were never further from the earthquake. This was the bluegrass of Kentucky. Life was easy. Even the split with Mother at weaning time. But talk of earthquakes had been giving a hostage to fortune. 6 days after weaning, our filly was lying dead in the paddock.
You cannot envision this type of tragedy, just like walking in the stall Derby morning, say, and find the favorite for the Derby dead in the stall. And it's just something totally unaccountable if anything like this ever happened.
But it did, and clinical, physical proof comes with the autopsy.
The acute death and the postmortem findings were consistent with acute anaphylactic shock. I did find evidence of a previous injection that the foal had been given approximately 10 days to 2 weeks previous to the time of death. There is a possibility that the foal did develop antibodies to this injection and at this time was reacting to these antibodies that were being developed.
Every time I go out in the front field where it was, you know, it comes, flashes across the top of your mind. Kind of like walking by a loved one that's buried there in front of you. That's what you think. I think anybody's been in the horse business has experienced tragedy. You have to take the bitter with the sweet. But it's part of the game, and life goes on, and it was just very, very sad.
Yes, she was a daughter of Secretariat, but she never had her chance.
And unfortunately, what we saw in our feature is not that uncommon an occurrence. Despite his size, the horse is essentially a fragile animal, and I think it's a tribute of man's love for the horse that such occurrences are really heartrending. And despite the monetary loss, it's the loss of the individual animal himself that seems to be most important. Well, right now, Sharon Smith is standing by with the really originator of the Breeders' Cup concept, John Gaines. Sharon?
Well, Mr. Gaines is not just one of the prime movers behind the Breeders' Cup, but an important thoroughbred breeder, too. In fact, he stands the stallion Leafard. Now, he had a good reason to believe a Leafard colt would win the turf. Well, it was maybe not the one that you expected, but you're still very proud of your stallion, aren't you?
Well, inordinately proud of this win. This horse, Manila, has done everything that's ever been asked of him, and he's never come up short. I hope next year he'll continue to race, and he will be the Dancing Brave of next year is what my fondest hope is. I think that we have to give Prince Khaled Abdullah and his team tremendous credit for the great sportsmanship and bringing their Arc de Triomphe winner over here. It was a very difficult double to handle. I think it took a great sportsman to do this, and that's what our racing is all about.
Well, it was a great tribute to the Breeders' Cup as well, and the concept obviously succeeding year after year. Let's go back now to Tom.
All right, Sharon. A thoroughbred trainer, winner's circle pictures, champagne, limos, private jets. That may be the image, but the reality is vastly different. At the track before dawn, staying until after the races, the thoroughbred trainer, Harvey Pack, has a profile.
The early morning sights and sounds of Barn 58. The sound of an industry turning out its product.
It's gotten more business-like in the last 5 years because of the traveling involved and the type of owners. You get a lot of big investors now and a lot of syndicates and brand new people that don't understand the business and it's changed a lot.
While the big stakes winners get all the media attention, it's the care and training of the everyday claimers that provide a barn with the cash flow to be a business.
Gary Turkoman is one horse. How many are in your care right now?
We've got about 42 right now.
42 horses.
42 horses. A lot of them are maidens, and Turkoman was a maiden once, too.
What does it cost an owner to keep a horse here?
It averages right around $1,500 a month.
So it's $18,000 for the year. That means he's got to earn about 30, I guess.
Just about that. Yeah. It's a game where you better have some money. You better have some. You better want to be in it.
Coddling horses is an expected part of a trainer's life, but he must also educate the owners and breeders as well.
We do okay. We deal with a lot of breeders who have a lot of patience, and I think you have to have. When you're dealing with young horses and you have to develop everything you get, you have to develop yourself. It makes it a little tough trying to beat the Goslins and the Whittinghams, and they get the ready-made horses, and it makes it a little tough, and it makes it tough trying to beat the Wayne Lucas with the $500,000 yearling.
And when the big stakes winner leaves for greener pastures, the trainer must look for bench strength, a search for winners.
You have to go through a lot to get one like him. When they average 50,000 a start, it kind of smarts when they leave. But we're looking all the time, and I've got a half brother to him over there right now. That's one thing about this business. Thank God for tomorrow.
Tomorrow may be coming up shortly for Gary Jones. He'll shortly send Turkoman to the post with a $3 million purse at stake. Like everyone else, he's praying for a winner.
Fifth race. It was a tough one. I got a winner.
Current odds here for the $3 million Classic. Turkoman at 9-5 and Precisionist 8-5. As Tom said, eyeball to eyeball in that gate. One likes to run from behind. Turkoman, the Classic confrontation. Precisionist will be in front. The filly from Great Britain, Triptyque, finished third in the Arc to Dancing Brave, is at 8-1. Now let's go down to Sharon Smith.
Well, Dick, it's been a quiet paddock. These horses, although there are several 3-year-olds, are very professional. I watched Turkoman and Precisionist walk past. They look absolutely magnificent. The day obviously seems to suit them. It's not too hot. I don't see anybody sweating quite yet, so it looks like we should get a good race. No excuses so far for these horses. They all look marvelous. Dick?
Money. Homework here, and Gary Stevens, a jockey that has been so brilliant and featured here, he's had a close but no cigar day.
He really is the man of the moment here. He's been second in 3 races. He was second with Qualify and Palace Music and Theatrical, but none of them were favored. They were all excellent rides, but now Gary Stevens has a chance to come to the winner's circle with Precisionist, and it's a very interesting 1-2 combination here. The folks at the track, and I'm sure all across the country at the simulcast places, simply can't separate these horses very much. Turkoman from Post 1 with Pat Day, Precisionist with Gary Stevens from Post 2, 9-5 and 8-5 respectively.
And here are 2 men that are tough to separate, Harvey and Jay.
$3 million purse. Boy, it's just mind-boggling to think what the Breeders' Cup in 3 years has done as far as injecting great new life into the thoroughbred industry.
Just being here to see these horses. It's too bad Dancing Brave didn't run. I was psyched out because he won the Arc. But quite honestly, you like to see a horse like Manila get it with Jose. It was a super ride and big deal. I don't have to worry. I'm not betting my own money.
Speaking of that, what do the letters OPM mean?
OPM is the big deals that you hear about on Wall Street, the big deals at the racetrack. OPM means you're using other people's money. It's the easiest game in the world. And I want to ask you something, Jay. If I had lost everything today, I'm going to come close, but I'm going to walk out with a few sprats just to get a lift to another racetrack. If I had lost everything, would you have loaned me a few?
Oh, my friend, I would have taken care of you. You know that.
That's one of the things you must remember at the racetrack. If the guy you're with still has money, you ain't broke, baby. You ain't broke.
Well, we've been richly endowed today to have Chris McCarron with us on NBC Sports. Chris, one of the great jockeys in the world, has ridden both favorites, Turcoman and Precisionist, so you have to have some thoughts.
I sure do. The horse you're looking at right now, Turcoman, is an outstanding individual, as is Precisionist. But this horse, they have two completely different styles. Turcoman comes from way, way back, and Precisionist shows a great deal of speed and likes to run on the lead. And that particular style could be hurt by Herat today. Herat has been a hindrance to Precisionist in the past, and if he goes out there and bothers him again today, then it's going to set it up for Turcoman.
So Precisionist has to go a little faster. That first half, forced by Herat, that could set up the race for Turcoman.
That's exactly right. And if Precisionist is able to relax off Herat, then another horse in the race, Hopeful Word, has a little bit of speed. He could be pressing Precisionist from a little bit behind him. So if that's the case, if Precisionist is caught between two other speed horses, then it's definitely going to set it up for
How about
Turcoman.
off the pace? Anyone else there that catches your eye?
Well, I tell you what, Nostalgia Star loves this racetrack. He won the Strube at 1.25 miles last year, and he comes from way back, and he's going to be helped by a fast pace.
So Nostalgia Star might be a good long shot play. The bugler has called this talented field, international field, to the track at Santa Anita. $3 million, $1,350,000 to the winner.
And so many Horse of the Year implications on who is first in this one. Certainly Turcoman and Precisionist would go to the head of the class if they won impressively. Here is number one, Turcoman, as a thoroughbred machine that comes from far back, and when he starts closing ground and eating up the competition, he just simply takes your breath away. Pat Day rides. And Precisionist sends chills up your spine as he thunders to the lead. Then he laughs at his competition and says, come on, catch me if you can. It's been 2 years since another horse has beaten him at equal weights, and Gary Stevens gets the call to hang on and keep him in front. I have to agree with Dick Girardi, the Philadelphia Daily News. He thinks that it's going to be Precisionist in front by 3 at the 8th pole, Turcoman flying, and Precisionist hanging on. But these two horses have won the major handicap races this year. They'll look each other in the eye. What a summit conference. Number 3 is Skywalker, the 1985 Santa Anita Derby winner, with jockey Lafitte Pinkai Jr. trying for the upset this afternoon.
Number 6 is the Judgment from
Just behind, that's Skywalker with Lafitte Pinkai. There's Hopeful Word, the 4-horse. A nice horse who's won 6 out of 8 this season, but I don't think he's in a class with Turcoman and Precisionist. Pat Valenzuela picked up this mount. Number 5 in the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, sponsored by the Mobil Oil Corporation, is the English bred who appeared in our 3-year-old classic, the Kentucky Derby, and finished second. It's Bold Arrangement, who returned to England and the turf and hasn't won a race since. No pony, as you can see, they're actually taking him out with the groom. And here is number 6, Alpha Betum. He has the clockers scratching their collective heads after this morning trials. He's working better than any horse on the card, 1 mile and 1:36.1. Spectacular. I have a feeling that trainer John Gosden has Alpha Betum cranked up for the central moment of his racing career right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he hooked up with Precisionist or Turcoman for the drive. Eddie Delahousie urging the 5-year-old on. Triptyque is the 7-horse, the best mare in Europe. She's beaten the Colts and was 3rd to Dancing Brave in the Arc. Tony Cruz, the top rider from Hong Kong, is here for the Classic. Certainly an international event. Number 8, Iades. The French-bred long shot has little to recommend, but you never know. This is horse racing, and Cash Asmussen, fine jockey, rides. And number 9, the question mark in here, Herat, a recent wire-to-wire winner of the Maryland Classic, probably going to go for the lead. Jerry Bailey, who won the Maryland Classic on Herat this afternoon, trained by Jack Van Berg. And Magambo adds some interesting spice to the race. Never been the same since he won the Gotham, beating Groovy and Tasso, but he's back, and Cordero is aboard. That's Magambo. And number 11, Nostalgia Star, who Chris told us loves this track. He worked a mile in 138 flat in preparation for today's 10 furlongs. Fernando Toro, the other half of this team. What a race. $3 million, the Breeders' Cup Classic, sponsored by Mobil. And Gary Stevens, as we said, the man of the moment. Can he now come to the winner's circle after finishing second 3 times? He has Precisionist. That's Turco Man right there.
A man who knows the thrill of visiting his pride in the winner's circle. Lacombe, a fine 3-year-old filly. You won a Del Mar this past summer?
Yes, we did, Dick. Yeah, we were very, very fortunate with her. She's been a wonderful horse for us. It's the first time I'm in partners with 4 other gentlemen, and that's the first time we've ever had a racehorse and in the thoroughbred racehorse, and she's been really wonderful for us.
It's like watching one of your own children.
Yes. Yeah, we're all very excited, you know, to have that kind of action and have it that kind of luck. It's really been very fortunate for us. We have a wonderful trainer in Ron McAnally, and he's made all the decisions for us, and we're real pleased.
Once you get in, it's tough to get out. Let's talk about this race with Horse of the Year implications, although Lady's Secret may have stolen all the thunder, Precisionist and Turco Man, or do you like an outsider?
Well, I kind of like that Alpha Beta, and Delahousse is a nice, a good jockey. And what is it? No, what is she?
Big overlay, 18 to 1 on the morning line, and 8 to 1 to 18 to 1 right now.
Could be, but Precisionist is obviously the horse to beat. It's going to be a wonderful race. I never ever thought I'd see a race where they'd have a $3 million purse. Did you?
Maybe sometime we'll see you down there collecting one. Hope so. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks.
Robert Wagner. The tension and drama builds at Santa Anita. The $3 million Classic is coming up.
The Breeders' Cup Classic is brought to you by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Mobil 1 protects your engine better than any conventional motor oil.
On a brilliant Saturday afternoon, a crowd estimated at 68,500. The betting handled thus far $9.3 million. The record something over $12 million here at Santa Anita. And now the finale of this rich Breeders' Cup Day, the Breeders' Classic for older horses 3 and up. At the American Classic distance of 1.25 miles, same as the famed Kentucky Derby. This is racing's 15-round heavyweight bout, the 1,500 meters in the Olympics, 5 sets for the Wimbledon Championship. A test of speed and endurance, and at the end, requiring the knockout punch. Implications for Horse of the Year honors are very real.
Now the one we've waited for, the Classic, the race, $3 million, 3-year-olds and up. The Oak Cliff Stables Skywalker, trained by Mike Whittingham.
He won the Mervyn Leroy at Hollywood Park. Is he good enough for these? Probably not. But let's remember, neither was Wild Again, and even Proud Truth nobody liked.
Bold Arrangement, the 3-year-old English-bred colt, is back in America.
A fascinating horse. He came here for the Derby. Watch him. Nobody thought he'd have a chance because he was a grass horse. He's going to finish second. Then he went back to Europe, and he did nothing over there. So why not try again? Here he is in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Turco Man, the 4-year-old by Aladar, winner of 4 of 7 this year.
This is an exciting horse to watch. He comes from behind, as he does here in the Marlboro. A win here could make him Horse of the Year. But this is a 1-mile racetrack. He makes a late sweeping move. The track could beat him, but he likes this distance, and he's ready.
Another potential Horse of the Year, Precisionist, the 5-year-old bred and owned by Mr. Fred Hooper.
An amazing horse. He won the Breeders' Cup Sprint last year. That's remarkable in itself because he did it off a layoff. But now he comes back as one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and good reason to be one of the favorites. Here he is in the Woodward. He's going to win that race. He beats Lady's Secret, among others. But the distance, 1.25 miles today, not his best distance. Can he withstand the late charge of Turco Man? This is his home court. What a matchup. What a race.
And we will check first with Bruff Scott. What about Bold Arrangement, Bruff?
Well, I don't really like him. He'll probably win a street now. I prefer the other one, Triptyque, the French filly, who's a really good mare. She comes to win the Champion Stakes. Tends like a soft turf. If she was to take to the dirt, we don't know that. She took to it. She's terrific value. She's a real champion. Better than these.
Harvey
Always
Pack.
better than these.
Always better than these. Harvey, you're down to $60.
What do I need it for? It's NBC's money. I came in here on Wednesday and Thursday. I didn't think Turco Man could lose. I really love him. The racetrack, the way it's been today, Precisionist is going to have everything his own way. What I'm doing is I'm hedging a little bit, which a guy will always do as he's going down for the last time.
Especially
I'm betting
you.
a couple of exactas here. I'm putting Turco Man for $10 over Alpha Beta. And for 5 over Mogambo, I think he's getting Lasix today. He's been rounding into this race. And I'm doing the same thing with Precisionist on top. $10 over Alpha Beta, 5 on Mogambo. But I'm sticking with the original opinion that just Turco Man can overcome the grain of the track, as we call it, and make that sweeping move. 25 win on Turco Man. I'll have 5 left. There's 2 more races.
Well, I hope you
After
have
we
a
go
big
off.
win here, because our executive producer, Mike Weissman, said if you couldn't make a little money for us today, you wouldn't even be back in Hollywood next year.
I'll be hitching home. I always do.
All right, and I think I'll go with Precisionist. So that's the scene as we get ready for the big one.
The official numbers, both at 8-5. Turco Man, number 1, and Precision is 2. And look, $210,000 bet on each. They're only $45 apart and nearly $500,000 wagered.
That's what you call co-favorites.
That's why you go to the racetrack.
It's one of the great matchups, I think, in my lifetime. And I can't wait to see if one of the other horses are going to throw a monkey wrench into this thing. It's going to be Precisionist winging it, and Turco Man coming from off the pace, and Alpha Beta has a big shot for an upset. Those are the 3 I boxed.
Lady Secret won so convincingly in the distaff, Dave Johnson, and one of the 3 mentioned for Horse of the Year here in the United States in 1986, Turco Man and Precisionist. If neither wins, does that clear it for Lady Secret in your mind?
I think Turco Man or Precisionist has to win in order to be considered competition here for Lady Secret. Even if they don't, Lady Secret is not a shoe-in, but I would think that Turco Man and Precisionist, one of them must win in order to be Horse of the Year.
Sharon Smith.
Well, Dick, you know, as you were watching the post parade, you see the huge Turco Man. He's more than 17 hands, Precisionist, a big, powerful horse. And then you continue on down to number 9, Herat, who, if he stands 15 hands with a hand being 4 inches measured at the shoulder, that's good. He is a tiny little horse. Now, horsemen traditionally like big horses, but Herat has proven that little horses can run well, as has Lady Secret. She's about the same size as he is. So let's stop this prejudice against little horses and look at the little ones as well. Dick?
Well, Joe Hernandez, we mentioned earlier, the longtime voice of Santa Anita Racetrack, used to say, welcome to Santa Anita at the foothill of the majestic San Gabriel Mountains, and with a blue California sky overhead and those mountains so close you feel you can reach out and touch them. These great horses enter the starting gate in that long run in front of the main stands. It'll be interesting to see who's first at that clubhouse turn.
But there's plenty of room to get position, and there are really 3 themes here this afternoon. The instant tradition of the Breeders' Cup with only 2 runnings, many of the horses coming back. Remember that Precisionist won the Breeders' Cup sprint here, and now he's stretching out his speed going 10 furlongs. And we've seen Lady Secret and the rich tradition she's already established. And we have Triptyque, who is one of the European factors here. There's Gary Jones, the trainer of Turco Man, watching in anticipation. And the subtle changes with the at the top of the jockey ranks. Here we have Gary Stevens and Pat Day riding the 2 big horses. An interesting thread through the Breeders' Cup this afternoon.
The 2 previous classics were not won by the favorites. Wild Again was a big long shot 2 years ago, and Proud Truth the winner last year. Here for the call is Tom Durkin.
And they're taking their place for the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Now getting into line is Bold Arrangement, the European finishing second in the Derby. Since then, not much. And Bold Arrangement, Pat Eteries seeks to make amends, finishing off the board with Dancing Brave in the last race. Alpha Beta moving into line with Eddie De La Houssaye and Triptyque. The filly, the lone filly in the race, I-80s. And from the outside, speed horse, Herat. He's got some early gas, but will Jerry Bailey put the pedal to the metal? That remains to be seen. Precisionist will certainly be out there quickly early. And Herat goes into line. And Mogambo did not look good in the post parade today. He's usually a real picture on the racetrack, but today he really didn't look like the old Mogambo. And Nostalgia Star with Fernando Toro completing this field of 11. The field in place for the 3rd Breeders' Cup Classic. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I-80s was away slowly. Skywalker comes away for the lead and toward the inside. It's Precisionist, and Herat is out fast. And they pass it the first time, well off the rail. It is Herat who now takes a short lead. Precisionist is close to him now, second on the inside. Skywalker third, and Hopeful Word is fourth. A gap of almost 6 back to Mogambo. And then another 4-length gap to Triptyque. Alpha Beta is in between horses. Turkoman is down on the rail. He's 12 lengths off the lead already. Nostalgia Star is wide going into the turn. Bold Arrangement is second to last, and after the slow start, I-80s trails the field. Around the first turn, the first quarter in 22 and 3/5 seconds, it's Herat in front. Precisionist tucked along the inside. Skywalker is in between horses. Hopeful Word in hand and 4 wide. They move to the back stretch now, and Precisionist is moving through on the inside after Herat. Skywalker is right there. Hopeful Word just off them, then a gap of 3 back to Mogambo. 7-length gap back to Alpha Beta. Another 7-length gap back to Nostalgia Star. Toward the inside, it is Triptyque and Turkoman. 15 lengths off the lead with the half mile to run. 46 flat for the half mile, 3/4 in 10 and 1. And the field moves into the far turn. Skywalker and Herat. Precisionist nowhere to go toward the inside. Hopeful Word is alongside him. Mogambo is moved within 3.5 lengths of the lead. Then farther back, Alpha Beta is there on the outside. Toward the inside, it is Nostalgia Star. And Turkoman now, he's put to the whip. But he's 10 lengths off the lead of Skywalker, who passes the quarter pole with Precisionist in close pursuit. And Turkoman is swinging 5 wide. He's picking them off one by one, and he's rolling now. But they have to catch Skywalker. He leads by 4 with the furlong to the wire. Precisionist is second. Turkoman closing third. Skywalker is still there. And then it is Precisionist. Turkoman with one late move, but it is too late. And Skywalker, an upset winner, with Pinkai aboard to win the 3rd Breeders' Cup Classic. And the string of long shots continues. Turkoman was gallant. He was coming from far out of it, but he simply ran out of ground. And Pinkai, the master, aboard Skywalker to win the 3rd Breeders' Cup Classic.
Pinkai, indeed, the master. He opened the day's $1 million racing by winning the juvenile for the Colts aboard Capote, and he finishes in the $3 million race with Skywalker. Mike Winningham, the trainer for Oak Cliff Stables. Luke Skywalker, the hero of Star Wars, was the influence in the naming of Skywalker, a 4-year-old Kentucky bred.
What an interesting race. Skywalker got to the lead over on the backstretch, and I'm sure there will be words between Pinkai and Stevens. It looks like they were boxed up a little too tight going down the backstretch, but coming into the lane, it's Skywalker. And Precision is simply nowhere to go early and not enough speed here. Finishing third, Turkoman from the back of the pack, and down the stretch they come. Pinkai with a 10-1 shot, who took the Santa Anita Derby. Turkoman closing in vain. Precision is third, another classic in the classic.
And true to form, the outsider winning it unofficially, Skywalker at 10-1. Across the line first, followed by the 2 everyone was watching. Turkoman apparently second, and Precisionist is third in 2 minutes and 2/5. $1,450,000. Oh, they'll be skywalking. We've talked often today about the highs and lows in the racing game. A year ago, in the Kentucky Derby, Skywalker, injured in Spend a Buck's victory, came back successfully for Mike Whittingham, the son of the Hall of Fame trainer Charlie Whittingham, and today Lafitte Pinkai, with one of his many brilliant rides, gets Skywalker home first at 10-1 for the Breeders' Classic Championship. Well, a man who knows the feeling of victory in that classic, Pat Day, is with Tom Hammond.
You're right, Dick. He won the first one with Wild again, but not so lucky today, finishing second on Turkoman. Made a big run through the stretch, but just too much ground to make up.
Well, Tom, you know, he warmed up good today. This is the first time I ever rode him in the afternoon, but anyway, he broke good and run good down under the wire the first time, and then he started backing up and just lost contact with the field. You know, I knuckled on him down the backside and tried to get him back in the race, and there just wasn't any response there. And at the 3/8 pole, I got serious on him. I turned my stick up and got to wailing on him, and he come on and run a little bit down the stretch, but it wasn't the kind of run that I know he's capable of. And I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Tatum, Mr. Whittingham, and Mr. Pinkai on their success. But this colt, he really didn't win his race. You know, he didn't run his kind of race today. I've watched him run a couple of times when Chris was riding him, and also when Steve rode him in the Marlboro there in New York. And those races, he didn't run that race today.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Pat Day, who rode Turkoman this afternoon. Let's go now to Bruscott.
Yes, and with us now, Patrick Biancone, trainer of Chiptyque, trainer, of course, before all along, who was the horse of the year here, Patrick. European champions haven't done well today. What's been wrong?
Past towards the end of the season, as they have a hard season before to come. For my filly, it's only a question, I think, of adaptation of the dirt. We have tried to run on the dirt. She ran well, but not fast enough this time, but we will try to come back with better horses next time.
She ran close to Dancing Brave in the Arc de Triomphe. Dancing Brave blew out today. Why do you think he did that?
I think perhaps they are a little bit tired. It's a very long flight to come over here, and in plus we have this quarantine who can disturb a little bit the horses. But we're happy. We cannot win each time we ran, and she ran well, and it's perfect.
Not each time. Thank you, Patrick Biancone. Back to Dick.
Skywalker's upset over Turkoman and Precisionist. Does that mean that the Silver Bullet, the brilliant filly, Lady Secret, will be Horse of the Year? Let's go to the owner, Gene Klein. He's with Sharon Smith.
Well, Dick, Mr. Klein's a man who has won a race even though he didn't have a horse running here today. Your filly is almost certainly Horse of the Year, don't you agree?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I really didn't believe there was any question before today's races. She had done everything, but with she winning and none of the other two contenders winning, I just don't think there's any question but that Lady Secret is Horse of the Year. She may even be Horse of the Century.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Klein. Let's go to Jay.
Tommy.
Tom, over here, real quick. We're ready.
What a guy.
All right, here we are ready, finally, and an old friend, and I'm so happy for him, Mike Whittingham. My.
Well, what can I say? I'm still in the daze.
Well, I talked with you earlier in the week, and you said you thought you had a shot. I think a lot of people may forget that this horse was injured in the Kentucky Derby. You had to be very patient.
Yeah, we took our time specifically for the Breeders' Cup. That's everything we did the whole way up was for this race. And boy, did it pay off.
We take a look at the replay, Michael, as we get a word from Lafitte Pinkai, who was here at the start of the day and is here now. Lafitte?
Well, I tell you, I rode the horse with a lot of confidence today. I was very high on him. I knew it'd be tough to beat today. Right about here, he's very close to the rail, but I didn't want to take him out of the rail because he was running nice, and I knew right here that I was going to win easy.
Win easy?
Yes. Well, not really, though, but I knew somebody was coming at the end, but I was confident that he was going to win.
Harvey?
Good on this horse. You've been 3 for 3 with him the last 3 times.
That's right. We got along good, and I hope the luck continues.
Good combination, Lafitte. The owner of the horse, Oak Cliff, Tom Tatum. Tom, I've known you for several years. That's what I'm talking about. You never told me you had 4,000 partners.
Well, you need 4,000 partners to survive in this business.
This is a big one for you.
A lot of dough. Oh, this is great. This is what it's all about.
Is that half of Texas?
A good portion.
Good luck to you, Tom. Congratulations. Back to Dick and Dave.
Lafitte Pinkai with 2 wins today, earning for his 10% almost $200,000. Skywalker, the upset winner in the Classic, paying $22.25, $80, and $340, followed by Turkoman and Precisionist.
The old idea.
The majesty of the horse, the thrill of the race. This celebration of thoroughbred racing is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup.
Back again at Santa Anita, where the Breeders' Cup Classic is in the books. The official order of finish, Skywalker pulling the upset with Turkoman second, Precisionist third. As you see, the remainder of the order of finish in the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic, with Herat, the early pace setter, fading to last. Just moments ago, the trophy presentation here at Santa Anita. with Alan E. Murphy, the chairman of the sponsoring Mobile Corporation, presenting the trophy to Tom Tatham of the Oak Cliff Stable, the owners of Skywalker. Dick Enberg.
And with Chris McCarron, a unique experience. We're pleased that you're recovering so well. Should be riding again next spring. What are your thoughts on today?
Well, thanks, Dick. It's a big surprise to me. I was very surprised by the result, but it just goes to show you anything can happen in horse racing.
And was there one mount that you wished you'd had today?
Yeah, Smile. Or Turkle Man.
We'll look forward to seeing you back in action soon.
Thank you very much.
Chris McCarron, let's go down to Jan Harvey.
All right, and Harvey's left with $5, but it was some day.
It's not bad. The only regret I have is I should have picked Smile like I told you I would last night. I'm glad for Tom Tatham. We got 2 more races here at Santa Anita. I got $5 left. Could get a lot better.
And he'll be in action. It was a first-time start for me. It's been a great day of action and ambiance. Dave Johnson.
Fun up here, too, and I bet that it was a fun day in the booth.
Oh, you can't beat fun at the racetrack, Dave. It's a great privilege and lots of fun to call the races, especially on a day like today. But next year, I want a different job. I want to be Harvey Pack's bookie.
What was your highlight, though, today?
Had to be Lady's Secret. She was just absolutely magnificent. You could see her power. She had the look of eagles about her when she took the track, and she ran great today.
In an afternoon of superlatives, we saw the best filly of our lifetime with Lady Secret. And it's so great that Gene Klein and Lucas are going to run her again next year. That's why we had so many thrills with John Henry, because we got to see him through the years. Right now, let's go to Sharon and Tom.
Sharon, we can only echo Dave's comments. It was a great day of racing, a day of upsets, but the horse of the day, the horse of the year, Lady Secret.
Well, absolutely. And in addition to Lady Secret, we saw sure or possible Eclipse Award winners in virtually every category. Probably not the steeplechaser, but boy, we saw just about everything else.
Well, we did enjoy a day of upsets, and if there was any surprise, it was probably the fact that the Europeans, especially Dancing Brave, did not run as well as we expected.
They disappointed, and I think Bruff is trying to figure out what happened.
And I wonder if that means that there will be less European participation from now on. What about it, Bruff?
I hope not, Tom. Sackcloth and ashes here, I'm afraid. It is difficult, though. I think the lesson for the Europeans is you can't come and win the Breeders' Cup at the end of a long campaign. You've got to prepare specially for it. But we'll be back next year, promise you. It's been a great day. Lovely to be here. Back to Dick.
The Lady Secret is the big story today, Dave Johnson. And the previous 2 classics, there were, 5 in '84, another 5 Eclipse Award winners last year, and I wonder how many will win it because of their performance today. Well, one will certainly be Manila, who wrapped up the Turf Championship. And as a matter of fact, I think he might get some 3-year-old votes to be the 3-year-old of the year. Manila was just superlative this afternoon. But again, a tip of the hat to Gene Klein and Wayne Lucas. They're my favorite pair since Bartles and James. We look ahead to next year. Capote, the 2-year-old colt win, maybe a Derby favorite. On the other hand, I hope this doesn't mean, as we look at the winners today and we salute each and every one of them, that the fact that the European horses did not do well, that'll discourage them from returning to Hollywood Park next year.
They'll be back.
Indeed, we hope they will be. And we hope you will be as well. Santa Anita Park, a magnificent setting today for the third Breeders' Cup. Winner or loser, again, underlines a culmination of another outstanding thoroughbred racing year. We hope you had a winner. Goodbye from all of us from Santa
Anita. The third running of the Breeders' Cup has been brought to you by Chrysler. At Chrysler, they're driving to be the best.